Carrying on with my series of Mahadasas and trying to demystify astrology and empowering people and helping them know what exactly is to be expected when Mahadashas are happening in your life, the various Mahadashas, and how to act, react, and learn from them. Normally when we are talking about Mahadashas, we start off with the Sun, Moon, the Mars, Mercury, Jupiter and so on. But being the different person that I am going to start my series with the most dreaded Mahadasha, Rahu. Rahu Mahadasha, which is actually the most feared Mahadasha after the Saturn. Now Rahu Mahadasha lasts for 18 years. And during these 18 years, the two lines that need to be kept in mind are, keep in mind life is all the result of choices. The choices we make determines our fate. So this is the time to practice alertness, awareness, introspection and many other such adjectives that help you know yourself. Now understand the planet of Rahu. The planet of Rahu talks about the grit, the determination and the resilience within a person. Rahu is a planet which gives you disillusionment, it gives you falsehood, it gives you maya, it gives you greed, it makes you materialistic, it makes you, want all those things be actually what we term as evil thoughts. For me, no thoughts are evil. I feel according to an individual's need, the person starts becoming greedy for that. I may be greedy for having good relationships or multiple relationships, or I may be greedy to experience more wealth, and more is never enough. So we become materialistic, we become greedy and we want more and more and more. In our various sacred scriptures, we have been warned that these are the three main things we need to stay away from. That is Lobh, Moh, Hankar and Maya. Now, Lobh basically means greed. Moh means the attraction or the affection or illicit relationships. Ahankar means arrogance. And Maya means all that is delusion, all that is attractive and all that is beautiful. We need to stay away from these things. Yes, that is true, that we need to stay away from them. Aspiring for them is not bad. Over aspiring for them is bad. So what happens when the Rahu Mahadasha comes? The over aspirations, the over greed, the over attractions, they are much more in play. And whenever we are running after these things, obstacles are bound to happen. Obstacles are bound to be there. So what do we need to do during this Rahu Mahadasha? It tempts a person to undesirable involvements and attachments. You may also be tempted to cherish false hopes. So you may think that these things can happen, or you will believe people very easily. You will trust the other person very easily. Now, why do you trust other people? Because there is a hidden agenda. You feel that the other people can be of benefit to you and chances are that you may benefit from them. So that is why that trust factor becomes much more, I would say, concrete. And in the end, when you are let down, you are betrayed. So it leads to false hopes. And then your behavior may change and be erratic. See, when the false hopes comes in, you become very strong, you become very aggressive. And you suddenly start feeling that, oh, now I'm going to make it in life and that's it. Now it makes your behavior arrogant, it makes your behavior very erratic, and you may tend to be very, very aggressive. So you will be concerned with material comfort. You will find it easier at this time to discard old morals or old values or what your elders say out of experience. You are bound to get into that kind of aggressiveness that I will be able to do it on my own, which is good and bad at the same time. If you're going to be foolishly aggressive, obviously it will turn into bad. But if you are holding on to your reins, you're disciplined in your thoughts and you monitor your thoughts. Like when I said earlier on that it is very important that when you are in Rahu, you need to keep in mind all the result of the choices we make, and this is the time to practice alertness and awareness and have that resilience in you to determine what is right and what is wrong. And this goes on for 18 years. And invariably, Rahu is always starting from your teenage years and ending somewhere at the age of around 50, 55 or 60. After the age of 65, very rarely does a Rahu come in. Or even the Rahu is very rare when a person is born. There are exceptions. There are times when a child is born with a Rahu Mahadasha. Right, or when a person is dying, the last days of his life are in Rahu Mahadasha. If you actually see, if a child is born with a Rahu Mahadasha, he is oblivious to everything and he is trusting everybody or whatever is coming his way because he is unable to make his own choices in life. And if you see when a person is in the last stages of his life and he is in a Rahu Dasha, you will see that such people are very delusional. They are in their own world. They are thinking what they are doing is right. What is happening to them is wrong. So they are either always cribbing and they become crib masters, or they are always hoping that yes, their days were very good and today's generation. So see that arrogance comes in. Now, they say when Rahu is well placed, it is very good, and when Rahu is ill placed, it is very bad. Now, I'll just remove this rather than rushing up and trying to know whether your Rahu is ill placed or whether your Rahu is well placed. You can feel it within yourself. If you are a person undergoing a Rahu Dasa and it is making you resilient and it is making you stronger, every problem that comes your way, you're able to handle it with great grit and determination, your Rahu is well placed. But if you feel weak and if you tend to cower down and you feel that life is just going berserk and everything is just falling apart, rest assured your Rahu is ill placed. But in both cases, whether it is well placed or ill placed, Rahu is teaching you experience. Rahu is teaching you resilience. Rahu is teaching you self-belief. If you have the self-belief and the conviction, you can win the world. You can fight and overcome the obstacles. But if you're weak and if you're completely ballistic and you're underconfident, then you need to think twice, because Rahu can completely empower you and probably make you do all the wrong things in life that will land you in a thick soup. So if an individual understands that, okay, my Rahu Mahadasha start, I just need to keep two things in my mind. One is I need to have my self-belief and self-confidence in my own self, which only comes with discipline. And B is I do not have to trust people blindly, even may it be your very close relationships. Who has a hidden agenda? You never know. That is why there is a very famous saying in Hindi when we say Astin ka Sant. That means somebody close by you is only the person you will be betrayed. So the person you trust the most is the person who will betray you the fastest. That is the Rahu Mahadasha. So I would say you can't be now suddenly when Rahu Mahadasha comes, you can't be saying I don't trust my spouse, I don't trust my child, I don't trust. The trust factor always remains with the closed ones. The only thing is that you need to be vigilant and you need to be alert, and probably when somebody is trying to say something, use your rationale, use your intelligence. Be firm but not aggressive. Be calm but not impatient. So that's how you can overcome the Rahu Mahadasha. it indicates good effects. Now what does Rahu Mahadasha say? It basically says it indicates that good effects will be derived through your grit and determination. You will eventually rise to power, albeit a little late in life, because it requires hard work, but your hard work will bear fruits. You need to be careful that you avoid any kind of temptations and be aware of taking risks. Do not make conditional moves in relationships, they will not last. In fact, if you actually give it a thought, Rahu or no Rahu, any relationships that's built on conditions never lasts. Any profession taken up, built on conditions or built on the factor that this profession is paying more money, but I am not interested in it, do you think that money will last? Sooner or later you will be fired from the job, or sooner or later you will be given a black chit saying your interest or your productivity level is very, very low. You may move to a new house because you suddenly feel that you've come into money, you can construct a new house, or chances are you may also think of uprooting yourself and going to a new destination. Because Rahu does demand and command change, not only in a person's character, mind, body and soul, but also physically. So Rahu is a planet. Now what is the flip side is that Rahu is also a planet presiding over gambling and speculation. When an adult, you will distinctively feel the changes within your own psyche. You will start feeling that you're changing as a person. For better or for worse, you have to analyze it yourself, not allow the people to analyze it for you. You know it within yourself. You will need to take special care of your health during this time, as you will noticeably be able to read through people who claim to be close to you. Sometimes these hurts can tarnish one's psyche and leave lifelong blemishes. So how do I avoid all this? This is bound to happen to me. How do I avoid it? By not trusting people, not taking people at their face value, and being mentally prepared that yes, the people I trust most can hurt me. And once you take that, it is something like acceptance. In a nutshell, if you start accepting facts of life and being realistic and rational, you will safeguard yourself from these lifelong blemishes. You could find yourself contemplating separation from your partners, personal or professional, even though you may have known them for a very, very long time. It is just now that you will feel the courage to take the actions. That is Rahu well placed. So if you don't have the courage to take actions or to rectify the wrong, your Rahu is ill placed. What do you do during that time? Again, it's a decision, like I said. It's a choice that you make. If I cannot help a situation, I bear the situation. And if I can help to change the situation, I ensure that I don't get carried away and I safeguard my interests. During the Rahu Mahadasha, you cannot expect loyalty from everyone. In fact, being independent of thought, word and action is the best attitude during the Rahu Dasha. Regardless of the effect, regardless of ill-placed or well-placed, strongly placed or weak-placed, you will do very well by introspection and self-examination during the Rahu Mahadasha. While talking about all these major periods and sub-periods, it's very important that not to take a generic view of it. My endeavor is to make you understand that when these Antardashas happen or when these Mahadasas are happening in your life, how should you react and act. But in actual, it's very important to know your natal chart, because once you know your natal chart, you are actually very face to face, or you are aware of your attitudes, and which actually determines your altitude. It's very important to know what is your subconscious mind, how resilient you are or how not resilient you are. So when you go to a learned astrologer and know about your natal chart, that which is the Mahadasha going on you, which is the Antardasha going on you, and which are the energies in your body that are getting affected. By the virtue of energized stones, you can balance those energies in your body and make that particular period in which you're finding the obstacles, or in which you're finding that these things are putting hurdles and you're unable to overcome them, it becomes easier for you to overcome the obstacles. It's something like when a car breaks down, you know that whether the exhaust has broken down, or whether the gas is not being properly pushed, or the pedal, or whatever the various mechanics. So you can probably get an overall view of this is what has happened to the car. For it to run smoothly, you need to reach a mechanic who will rectify that situation. So similarly in life, when you make your natal chart done, you can actually get a view of your real self and how you can make your life successful. What is the period in which your energies can be high? And I don't wait for periods. It's important to know to start your success from the period you realize it, that this is what is happening, this is how I'm going to sow my seeds, and obviously my future life is going to be smooth, it is going to be happy without any fear or clutter in life. So the success starts now. Be aware of your natal chart. Don't feel that you're falling a prey to illusions. Don't feel that these are some kind of studies that make you weak. They don't make you weak. In fact, the study of your own self makes you a much stronger person and a force to reckon with.